You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events most of all. Thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any more finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The celebration of the day. We're looking for a great celebration. We're looking for a lot of things. I'm going to share with you a couple of things we've got going on right now, but we're looking at today's celebration of the day. National Hard Candy Day. I don't know about that one. How about C's Candy for today? How about National Oatmeal Muffin Day? I don't know about that one either. That doesn't sound very exciting, but we'll continue searching. We are looking for the celebration of the day. We're going to talk a lot today about tips for first-time home buyers. We're going to talk about what's going on in the mortgage market today, and we're also talking about cash-out refinancing. Should you do it? We'll chat about that as well. There's a lot to cover this morning. Let's look and see what the markets are doing. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 276 points. Oil up $1.32 a barrel. That's a little bit of a new system for us. About 68 days in a row we saw oil prices drop. Today was the first time that we actually saw, believe it or not, I know it doesn't sound like it, especially when I just told you that oil prices are up for the day on the barrel side. But when we looked at the pricing of gasoline actually stayed the same. So, yeah, I know it's not Taxifornia. We like to pay more for gasoline than the rest of the country. Anything we can do to increase our expenses here in Taxifornia, we do it. $2.36.9 is the national average. Add $1.50, buck and a nickel to that. So we're at $341.8 in Taxifornia. Missouri is at $1.94.8. So that's just a little bit of what's going on in the market. We are on Fed Watch today, so we're watching to see what the Federal Reserve will do. We kind of have an idea of what they're going to do, but we're going to watch and see that. I see that the Senate is going to put to a vote. You could have guessed that they were going to put to the vote the bunch of wimps in Congress, the senators, McConnell. Why the heck is this guy still there? But the two biggest issues we are seeing now in the marketplace, we're looking at the healthcare and illegal immigration. Illegal immigration, not immigration, but illegal immigration. Those are the two biggest issues according to the markets. And as always, McConnell is going to push the can down or kick the can down the road to avert a government partial shutdown. I just happen to be one of them. If they're not essential workers, why do they work there in the first place? And it would be great, in my opinion, just my opinion, I'd love to see it if the president vetoes this bill. See if they can get, instead of 60 votes, which they can never get 60 for anything, let's see if they can get 67 to override the presidential veto. Let them do it. Yeah,
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, that would be my idea there, is to let them go ahead and try and override the presidential veto. Get the border wall. We want the wall. We want the border security. Again, all we care about is security. It's not an issue of trying to discriminate against anybody. Did you see they found another tunnel going in through Arizona, bringing in a bunch of drugs into the U.S.? Just watching some of those things for you. Another one of those stories. The bump stock ban. Yes, it looks like the Trump administration did put through that ban on the sale of bump stocks earlier this year. The Department of Justice proposed this rule in response to the deadly 2017 Las Vegas shooting where the gunman used bump stocks. I'm not sure I understand why you try to micromanage. Okay, they did one thing, so we're going to ban the bump stocks. Now, who do you think is going to turn in their bump stocks over the next 90 days? Is it going to be the folks that are using them legally or the folks using them illegally? Just saying. Sentencing was delayed in the Michael Flynn case after the judge blasted the security advisor and the Department of Justice. Fascinating story. You're only getting part of the story if you're watching the news here in Southern California and anywhere. They only tell you, well, the judge asked the question if it should have been charged with treason. Does that mean the judge believes he's guilty of treason? No, he just asked, was this evaluated as part of it? Because the judge is trying to figure out, what should the sentence be? Unbelievable. Unbelievable what's going on in some of these issues. The Clinton Foundation, their executive mocks the Trump Foundation amid legal trouble. Fascinating story there as well. The Trump Foundation is going to close down. All those who benefited from it are out. They will not get those gains any longer. So the Trump Foundation, because New York Attorney General Barbara Underwood, now, she ran her campaign on the idea of harassing the president. Okay, so she followed through on her campaign promise. She's harassing the president. What is that doing for some of the folks who were the beneficiaries of some of the good things that the foundation did? Obviously, we're kind of watching and seeing, why aren't they doing the same thing to the Clinton Foundation? We know that that was just a slush fund for the Clintons, but that's one of those areas, once again, where everybody gets to do their own thing. It's a fascinating story there. Representative Martha McSally is being appointed by Arizona Governor, Senate seat held by John McCain. She had to go kiss the ring of Mrs. McCain, so she's got that support right now. Senate passed a sweeping criminal justice bill, let a lot of criminals out on the streets, so we'll see how that plays out. And a California man previously deported in 2014 goes on a 24-hour reign of terror before dying in a police chase. 30-year-old man who had been deported at least once and who owned a lengthy rap sheet. I wonder why it's not illegal to... Well, no, I guess the law doesn't matter with the criminals. On Monday, after a day-long reign of terror in which he shot and killed someone, carjacked another person, led the California police on a high-speed pursuit. Gustavo Garcia of Visalia was pronounced dead at the scene of the crash on State Route 65 in Porterville when he was ejected from a stolen truck. Not going to hear that one on the news either, I don't think, but we'll see what comes of that as well. So we're going to continue watching all of these different stories for you. And we've got a lot to share with you today as we continue our journey in getting ready to buy that first home. Maybe you want to buy a move-up home. We've got this program that we're setting up for you. We're getting about 5 families a day who are joining into our Get Mortgage Ready program. How about having a financial planning website? So you have a personalized website to put your financial plan on. And you're also going to have the site that'll help you, or our team that'll help you with your credit report. Almost everybody that we see, I mean, I haven't seen anybody yet that has a perfect score on their credit report. Now, the higher your score is, the lower the interest rates are, so we want to make sure we can do whatever we can to help get your interest rates down. That is our focus. So we're going to see if we can help you there, get that done, get it moved along, and get you the best possible rate. So we're going to see what we can do on all of that for you as we progress through the Get Mortgage Ready program. And we got tips for the first-time home buyer. We'll chat about that today. We got a lot also to chat about. Home ownership remains a huge part of the American dream. Why you shouldn't do a cash-out refinance to pay off credit cards. We'll talk about that. And options for paying off your student loans, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694552.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission. Lending partners will give a credit at closing. The title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to the Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, Gold Star has the programs and the products for you. You just need to make that phone call, 800-306-1990. What are the markets doing today? We are looking at them. Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 279 points as we speak. S&P 500 up 2776. The 10-year Treasury 1 basis point down at 2.81 is the yield, and the bond, the Fannie Mae 30-year bond, that is up 8 basis points. That means interest rates are a little bit lower than they had previously been. So we're checking that out for you. Now, once again, I share with you, as I do every day, that is the what. You can find that on Google.com. the issue that we want to always be looking at for you is, why is all of this happening? Well, the stocks obviously rallying, mortgage bonds slightly higher, off their best levels to start the day. We had a busy day today. It's Fed Day, which means at 11 o'clock our time, the Fed will release their statement and decision on whether or not to hike the Fed funds rate by 0.25%. While there are some out there that think the Fed may pause, especially with the pressure from the White House, I believe the Fed will be hiking rates, and most of the market does too. While that may be priced in already, the Fed's guidance on future hikes will impact the markets. Stocks won't like the hike today. They'll react positively if the Fed says it will pause in 2019. Historically, bonds, the Fannie Mae bonds, react favorably after a hike, but there is always choppiness after the release. We'll update you all day long. We're going to be continuing to watch it. All of our clients know that we keep on our device. We've got the markets always on here so we can see what is going on a regular basis. We also got a little bit other data this morning. The Mortgage Bankers Association reported that mortgage application volume dropped 5.8% from the previous week. Applications to purchase a home were down 7%, but are still up 1.8% from this time last year. So they're slowing down, but they're still growing. Don't let them tell you that houses are not selling. Refinances were down 2% last week. They're now down 33% from this time last year. One thing to keep in mind, the Mortgage Bankers Association seasonally adjusts the data, so it always tends to fall in the last few weeks of the year and bounces back in the first few weeks of the new year. The refinance share of mortgage activity increased from 41.5% to 43.5% of total applications. The adjustable rate mortgage share of activity increased to 7.9% from 7.6% of total applications. The average 30-year mortgage decreased from 5.96 to 4.94, about 78 basis points, or almost 0.75% higher from this time last year. Remember that the rate the MBA cites typically has some points included. They're generally dealing with the perfect loan. Existing home sales report came out this morning. That tracks closings on existing homes. They were up 1.9% in November, which was higher than the nearly 1% drop expected. This was the second increase we've seen in 6 months, but sales are still down 7% year over year. Inventory increased 4.2% year over year, but the amount of total inventory decreased from 1.85 million last month to 1.74 million. There was a 3.9 month supply, down from 4.3 months. Homes stayed on the market for an average of 42 days, up from 33 days. Median home price was reported nationally at $257,700. That was up 4.2% year over year. The first-time buyer increased from 31% to 33%. Cash investors went down. Now remember, at our friends at Gold Star Mortgage, you operate the same as cash. So just remember that concept right there. You'll be able to compete with that cash buyer. That is the concept that we have there at Gold Star Mortgage. That's the Mortgage Minute, again brought to you by our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage. So our conversation today, we're talking about first-time home buyers, what you need to do before you start house hopping. House hunting is the term I was looking for. So here are some key pointers to keep in mind as you undertake the process of qualifying for a loan and finding the place of your dreams. And again, we like to recommend you go to our friends at Gold Star Mortgage because they have really attractive pricing. But when you're talking about pricing on a home loan, everybody's most concerned about the interest rate. And I'm going to share with you that that's probably not in your best interest to worry exclusively, because everybody's going to be within a very, very short window of the same rates. And yes, I know I have people tell me all the time, well, Ron, you're in that business, so you've got a vested interest in saying don't worry about the rate. Well, that part is true. I'm not going to deny that. But what I do want to tell you is take a look at the numbers. See what the numbers mean to you and to your family. And let's just understand where they go. So if you're buying, and I'm just going to use a round number, a $500,000 house, and you're putting 10% down. Okay, so we're looking at a 90% loan. I'm going to share with you that when you're looking at that 90% loan, the difference in the interest rate, yes, it does matter, but it's basically a couple of cups of coffee or less than a very nice dinner. So when you're talking about your house and understanding the biggest investments that you have, when you're looking at a $500,000 home and you're looking at putting 10% down, the difference between a higher interest rate and the lower interest, let's just take a look at the difference between a 4.5 and a 4 3/4. You're talking about $60. Okay, nice dinner, couple, $60 a month. That's what you're talking about. Now, what if you make a mistake? What if you don't get the guidance and don't get the information about when you need to refinance that loan, when you need to restructure that loan, when you need to make modifications to that program? Well, then you can be costing yourself thousands and thousands of dollars, all because you wanted to save $50. Really? So let's think about that. So, if you're ready, the whole process here. You need to do these things before you start the house hunting. Number one, make sure your credit is in good working order. If you're in the market for a mortgage, begin by visiting myfico.com and getting your true credit score. Yes, it will cost you about $40 a month. myfico.com. If you and your partner or spouse want to buy a home together, you may want to try to qualify for mortgage underwriting on just the income of the person who has the better score. Maybe if that works for you, if you can qualify, most lenders will base your rate on the lower score, the lower individual's middle score. So you're going to have 3 different scores. You're going to have an Experian, an Equifax, and a TransUnion. So you're going to get, each of you will have, if you're a couple, each of you will have 3 scores. Lenders use the middle score, and they use the lower of the middle scores. In addition to your credit, you're going to also want to pull a copy of your credit reports. Again, you can get that at myfico.com, or you can go to annualcreditreport.com and go through those reports thoroughly. I've shared this with you in the past. Every individual who I've ever seen credit reports, and I've been looking at credit reports for many, many years, they are all wrong. I know 60 Minutes came out and said 20% are wrong. I can tell you this, and I see there's other lenders on watching the broadcast right now. You tell me, have you ever seen a completely accurate credit report? All the addresses, the address is correct. Name is correct. Alias is correct. They've looked at the months of evaluation, correct. Balances, correct. Account numbers, completely there. Right? Because the information that's on your credit report must be complete, it must be accurate, and it must be verifiable. Anything that's not there, that is an error, and it should be corrected. Errors technically should take 30 days to correct once you inform the bureau and creditor of their mistake. But in actuality, the process can take up to 3 or 4 months. So that's why you want to get going on this very early before you're out house hunting. Should you run into a problem getting a legitimate error removed from your credit report, again, give me a call, or I'll put you in touch with our friends at a couple of very reputable credit repair or correction agencies, and they've got some very lucrative pricing for listeners of Ron Siegel Radio. When it comes to unpaid collections, you want to make sure there are no surprise delinquencies eating up your credit. If there are, many times there'll be small piddly bills of the medicine nature, medical bills. Get those things paid off, but you need to do it properly. If you do it incorrectly, actually paying off the bill could hurt your score. So we don't want you to hurt your score by doing what's right in paying off that bill. You need to make sure you do it the right way. We're going to talk to you about that as well. Find a lender that will get you totally pre-underwritten. Pre-qualifying is the old school method. That's not the way it's done nowadays. You want to get pre-underwritten. There are pre-approvals, pre-qualify, and pre-underwritten, 3 different options. The pre-qualification and pre-approval are variations. One of them basically is, the only difference is they run it through the underwriting system. If you have extremely bad information in there, you could get a faulty approval. Or if you've got a very knowledgeable lender or loan officer, they can put in information that will get you a faulty approval as well. So you want to get that pre-underwritten so that when you get connected with a real estate professional, they're going to go out there and help you get approved or get it in contract with a same as cash offer, no loan contingency. So you don't have to worry about that part of it. We're going to talk more about the pre-qualification for a mortgage and more of the tips to look at before you start house hunting. This will be either for first-time buyers, move-up buyers, or right-size buyers. Same process for the entire group. We're going to also talk about home ownership, a huge part of the American dream. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you, but the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or Siegel MLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call to That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com, or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. Home ownership remains a huge part of the American dream as we head into 2019. Many news outlets and housing experts warn that the housing market may slow down. Over the last 6 years, the inventory of homes for sale has been near historic lows, which has been the force behind increasing home prices. This has been great news for sellers, as many of them have been able to capitalize on the demand in the market and sell their homes quickly and at a great profit. One of the big reasons why inventory has remained so low for so long is that an entire generation of home buyers is finally buying again. The millennial generation, ages 19 to 35, has been the driving force behind bidding wars in many areas of the country as they ditch their renter lifestyles and put down roots in new communities. First American recently released a study entitled "How Renter Millennials Will Transform the Housing Market." In their study, they explained that, quote, as more millennials age into their early to mid-30s and begin to get married, have children, and form households, they will continue to be the primary drivers of home ownership demand, unquote. Because of this, it is safe to say that one aspect of 2019's housing market that will not slow down is the demand for housing from young renters who are no longer satisfied living in someone else's home. According to the latest housing vacancies and home ownership report from the Census Bureau, home buyers under 35 are already out buying older Americans. I shared a chart earlier that shows the year-over-year change in home ownership by rate, home ownership rate by those under and over the age of 35. And it's significantly higher for those that are over. The national home ownership rate spiked to its highest level in 2004 and then steadily declined until the second quarter of 2016 when it reversed course. Home buyers under the age of 35 are the reason for that shift. More than half of the purchase mortgages originated by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac in 2018 were to first-time homebuyers. In fact, and I quote, according to Census Bureau and First American calculations, over the next 10 years, aging millennials are expected to purchase at least 10 million new homes. By 2060, it is estimated millennials will have produced more than 20 million first-time home buyers. The bottom line, if you're a homeowner who is nervous that the demand for your home will slow, don't worry. If your home is priced competitively, there will be demand for years to come as this generation of renters is finally able to and deciding to purchase. That is the real-time real estate segment, again brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. So, getting back to our conversation about steps to take for that first-time home buyer, the move-up home buyer. Very important to pre-qualify for the mortgage, get pre-underwritten as we spoke about before. By doing this, you get an idea of what kind of home you can afford and what the monthly payment will look like. Tie that in with that web portal, the financial portal that will give you for free, that'll give you your entire financial picture. You put everything into there, and it's very simple. It doesn't give anybody access. You can't make payments from that. But it basically consolidates everything that you have into one location so you can actually see it all there, helps you with your budgeting. But here's a warning. You'll be approved for a higher home price than might make sense for you. Don't spend it just because the underwriting says that you can. Stay within that budget that we talk about on that portal. It's up to you to think through what that translates as to a monthly payment. And we'll give you those options. Don't forget to add to that monthly taxes, insurance, and homeowners association dues, if there are any, along with some money budgeted for repairs and maintenance that are included in your rent, but you don't actually see them. So look at the payment you're facing and be realistic. Is it a payment level you can handle, or will it make you miserable? What's often called house poor. We don't want you to be there. Now, where should you get pre-qualified? I tell you that all the time. Do not go to the big bank. A lot of people will say go to the credit unions. I'm going to suggest to you neither one of those are your best source. Your best source will be going to a mortgage banker. Why? Because they act as your personal shopper. They go out and they will talk to the credit unions. They will talk to the big banks. They will talk to the insurance companies. They might even have all of them already on their cell phones, so they can figure out who's going to be getting ready to reprice before they do. Who's going to get you the best pricing all along. So years ago, credit unions weren't the best place to look for a mortgage, but that was then. This is now. Credit unions, they're decent now, but again, they only offer you their package. Credit unions might make sense for shorter term loans, but the longer term loans, you got to wonder about it. You might also try small banks, but again, they're not going to give you the best information because the mortgage banker's already looking there and more, and they're also looking at banks all over the country. Take a look at different options. Don't get spoofed by people that say don't pay points. Right? Sometimes points make sense. If you look at almost every website of big banks, they all include points. Why do they do that? Because they're wanting to hype an interest rate. But if you get a total cost analysis, you can actually say, okay, if I pay the points, this is what my payment and interest rate will be. If I do not pay the points, this is what my payment and interest rate will be. You can compare them. Then you have to look and say, okay, how long do I plan on keeping the loan? Not the property, but the loan. We basically keep our loans 5.2 years in this country. Why? Because we accumulate equity in the property, and when we accumulate that equity in the property, sometimes we want to refinance and restructure. Sometimes we want to take the money out and buy another piece of property. Sometimes we want money out to do some refinancing and repairs. And sometimes we just say, you know something, I bought a 2-bedroom house, or I bought a 3-bedroom house, and now I need a 4-bedroom house. I bought a house in X school district, and I want to be in Y school district. The kids moved out. We don't need to be there anymore. So you want to be looking at the points and your overall picture. That's why I recommend never going to an online website. If you remember in the last segment, I also spoke to you about the issue of, is it only interest rate? Is that the only thing that you should be concerned with? No. Right? Because even if your mortgage banker charges you 1/8 or 1/4% more, which generally they're not going to, but even if they did, you're talking about $25 or $50 a month. And yes, I know that adds up, but when you look at the comparison of somebody watching that debt for you on a regular basis, understand that when you go for the cheapest product, you get the cheapest product. You're not getting the services that you might be entitled to. I have a relative that loves going to an online broker but wants to call somebody to get full service stock brokerage information. Well, you know something? That's not fair. That's not right. You're paying for that information. Somebody's paying for it, but you're saying, "Oh, I don't want you to make any money." Well, where does that make any sense? Is there any logic to it? Closing costs, that's another issue. Now, our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage, just tell them that Ron said that they're going to waive the lender fees. Now, third-party fees, title, escrow, appraisal, government, can't control that kind of thing. But there can be a lot of junk fees that get added in. They call them junk fees. They may not be junk, but a lot of times those can be negotiated away with our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. You don't have to negotiate them away. They just tell you there are none. So the negotiation becomes very, very simple. Here's another warning. Each time a lender pulls your credit to give you a quote for a mortgage interest rate, it could be dinging your file. So you don't want to be going to a lot of places over an extended period of time. If you go to the same place over or a number of places in a very condensed period, they look at that, the bureaus look at that as buffering, and they're not going to ding your credit for it. But if you do it over an extended period, then you could end up having your credit dinged. But there are some places that can actually do a soft pull, so you don't have that same problem. You can minimize the damage by getting all quotes, again, within that 14-day short window of opportunity. That way it doesn't look like you're applying for multiple loans. It just looks like you're doing due diligence. Be timely with your paperwork. We're going to talk about paperwork. Is it as bad as they say? There are some situations where it is, some situations where it's not. We're going to talk to you about how to deal with the paperwork part of this as well. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets, tips for first-time home buyers and move-up buyers. That's the subject today. And why you shouldn't do a cash-out refinance to pay off credit card debt. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Most businesses struggle to get the online reviews they need to get a competitive edge over their competition. Rex is a brand new technology that uses text messages to direct happy clients to your online review sites, Zillow, Google, Facebook, and Yelp, and unhappy clients to a private survey, so businesses can win more customers. Try Rex today by going to www.meetrex.com.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRENMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 0186945 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has the solutions for you. Just checking on that for you. Credit Sanitizer. They'll help you out in a big way. What is the refinance issue? Why you should not refinance or do a cash out refinance to pay off credit card debt. Here's the issue. A lot of people have high credit card interest rates, right? Maybe you've thought about tapping the equity in your home to get the credit monkey off of your back. Well, here are some items you need to think about. According to the Wall Street Journal, Federal Mortgage Clearinghouse Freddie Mac is out with new numbers that show more than 8 in every 10 refinance borrowers who pulled money out of their home during the third quarter of 2018 did what's commonly called a cash-out refinance. Simply put, that means they exchanged their old mortgage for a new one with a higher principal balance and got cash back in the process. In just 3 months, people drew down the equity in their home to the tune of $14.6 billion. Ow! It's like treating your home as an ATM. This movement was largely driven by a real estate market where values are rising faster than wage growth, which makes this an attractive pot of money to tap into, in theory, when financial times get tough. Homeowners commonly use cash-out refi money to pay down other debts like credit cards. As you probably know, that plastic can carry an interest rate in the upper teens, maybe up in the upper 20s. Beware of this pitfall when you do a cash-out refinance. While getting the money out of your home like an ATM may sound great in theory, there are multiple downsides to doing a cash-out refinance that you need to be aware of. You might be giving up a lower mortgage interest rate. One of the downsides to doing a cash-out refi is that if you locked in a historically low mortgage rate anytime since the Great Recession, you're going to have to surrender it for a higher interest rate, mortgage rate, in order to tap into your home's equity. For example, Freddie Mac reports a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage now comes with a rate of 4.81. I think it was even a little bit lower than that. It's almost up a point from the end of 2017. Rates are only poised to go higher from here for the foreseeable future. So does this smell like a repeat of the last decade? If you're a watcher of economic cycles, it's not hard to notice some distant, muted echoes of the pre-recession cash-out refinance craze here. Only it seems to be happening at a lower pace this time. The Wall Street Journal notes that cash-out refinancing topped $80 billion for 3 straight quarters in 2006 before the housing market went sour. Now, in all fairness, the $14 billion in cash-out refinance we saw in the third quarter of 2018 is only a fifth of the $80 billion cash-out frenzy, but it still signals a note of concern. Look at the entire picture. If you were to do a cash-out refinance, sure, you could pay off the credit card, but you may pay thousands more in the long run on your mortgage because of higher interest rates. Here's the issue that nobody wants to talk about. Very few people will talk about. But I'm going to tell it to you because that's what we do here on Ron Siegel Radio, is look at your blended household interest rate. What is your blended rate? And then let's see the biggest problem with doing a cash-out refi to pay your credit cards is that in many instances, you're going to find that you go and spend the money high again. Now, here's my commentary for you. Is I don't have a problem with you doing a cash-out refi to pay down your credit cards as long as you can be disciplined enough not to rebuild those credit debt again. If you've got a problem with your budget, let's get you on our budgeting tool and find out before you do the cash out refi what makes sense. Then what we want to do is we want to get you on that budgeting tool, maintain that budget, take the amount of money that you were paying before for your home and your credit card debt, and continue making that same payment on the new mortgage. When you make that on the new mortgage, then you're going to see how that comes down in a quicker manner. Right? So be careful of these other issues. Let's look, but we might also want to look at, is there an opportunity to do a home equity line of credit? What are the other options out there for you? That's why you want, that's again one of the areas when you have somebody that you're paying to be a debt counselor, right? You've got a financial advisor. You've got a service that does that 401k. Well, now you don't want to go and you don't want to pay somebody to be the debt counselor, yet you're spending thousands of dollars every month on debts and you're worried about $25 or $50 over the long term. Just a thought for you. That is the Your Credit Matters segment, again, brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. We're going to get back to our conversation about the steps to take before you start house hunting. Paperwork. As you go through the lending process, you're going to have to do a lot of paperwork. Get your lender the info right away when they ask for it. Then document that you got it and you gave it to them. The last thing you want is to have a finger pointed at you for being negligent with the paperwork. Down payment. How much money do you have? How much money do you need for the down payment? Most people, if you're a first-time buyer, the FHA loan program generally allows you to bring in the least amount of money. The FHA loan is 3.5%. There are a couple of programs at 3%. There is the USDA loan at 0%. The VA loan for veterans at 0%. If you don't go the FHA route, 10%, 20%. There might be some private mortgage insurance. Again, that total cost analysis that I told you about before, that might be the best solution for you so you can see on a graph what makes sense for your family. Okay, so you got the loan approved. Do you want to go with buy a foreclosure? Do you want to buy a short sale? Here's the issue. On the foreclosure, you're generally going to be buying blind. You don't know what issues are there. You need to get a hold of our friends, John or Melissa Hammond, and get a great home inspection done before you buy. If the foreclosure is coming from the bank, that's one issue. If it's on the courthouse steps, you don't have the opportunity to send in a home inspector. Short sale, get that home inspection. Or just a home that somebody needs to get rid of. Divorce, death, relocation. Those are all items that are not nearly as blind as going in with the foreclosure. But again, get a qualified, in Southern California, I recommend Hammond Inspections to go and get that home inspection. The divorce, death, relocation, they're going to generally be in better shape and condition than a short sale. And foreclosures, sometimes those are downright sad because people just let it go. That's the big issue right there. Comparison shop for the title insurance. I just want to make sure you're getting one from one of the big companies. And many of them, when you ask the title agents who they're underwritten by, First American and Fidelity, those are the two biggest, and they tend to own most of the others, so ask. So you may not really even need to do any shopping, and depending upon the marketplace, you may not have an option. As you start to look at properties, you want an agent that is familiar with the area. Let me know. I'll put you in touch with great agents anywhere in the sound of my voice. And you can get on that Nest app that I told you about. Text Nest to 79564. Get on that app and get looking at some properties that fit within your budget. Real estate can be a deal, but only if you buy and hold. Real estate is not meant, it's not like a stock market where you're going to go and flip it. Back during the recession, I was advising people to stay in a traditional single-family home at least a minimum of 5 years, maybe more like 7 years before they want to move and sell again. That's at least how long it took for real estate values to recover from the trough of the recession. If you're starting out in a townhouse, that particular market remains a bit more distressed than the single-family market. You need to dig in your heels and stay put in the tent in the townhouse maybe a little bit longer. But again, just remember that the real estate market has always been, always will be about location. Does that mean you have to buy a great location? No. But it does mean that locations will appreciate in a different rate from area to area. So that's the item that I want you to be aware of, is they're going to appreciate it a different number from one location to another location. Just a thought for you. And another thought for you, set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We will talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.